So today we are hearing, of course, the Easter account, the account of resurrection. And there are 4 different versions of that held in one in each of the Gospels. And this year we get Mark. Mark is the first Gospel that was penned. So this was the first story of Jesus's resurrection that was written down. And there's 2 interesting things here. There's 2 things about unsatisfying Mark. For one thing, it was so unsatisfying that someone came along later and added another ending. That is, and it's like people don't agree on a lot of things with the Bible, but that's pretty widely agreed on, like that was not an original and that someone came along and pasted it in later because it was so unsatisfying. And to add to that, when Mark comes up in the lectionary, they also put John in there, like just in case you weren't satisfied by this one, or you don't want to like preach on this one on Easter Sunday, you can preach John, which actually has a depiction of Jesus showing up. This account, we don't see Jesus. We call it unsatisfying Easter, but in this, I think there is a word for each of us. So as we hear these words, whether they are new or familiar as the beat of our heart, may we hear a word that is for each and every one of us. When the Sabbath was over, Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James and Salome, brought spices so that they might go and anoint him. And very early on the first day of the week, when the sun had risen, they went to the tomb. They'd been saying to one another, "Who will roll away the stone for us from the entrance of the tomb?" When they looked up, they saw that the stone, which was very large, had already been rolled back. As they entered the tomb, they saw a young man dressed in a white robe. That's all the information we get. A lot of artistry will depict this as an angel or maybe secretly as Jesus, but all Mark says, all the author of Mark says, is a young man dressed in a white robe. A young man dressed in a white robe sitting on the right side, and they were alarmed. But he said to them, "Do not be alarmed. You are looking for Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. He has been raised. He is not here. Look, there is the place they laid him, but go. Tell his disciples and Peter that he's going ahead of you to Galilee. There you will see him, just as he told you." So they went out and fled from the tomb, for terror and amazement had seized them. That's a good start, but then it turns here. And they said nothing to anyone, for they were afraid.